Hello, happy new day. What is stopping you from living fully covered? I'm Paris, working hard to be your favorite Paris, and today I am back again to go over life insurance and to talk about how we can change our mindset to think about life insurance a little bit different. Um, I'm going to jump right in and just talk through some different mindsets that we can change. And then I'll go through the PARIS acronym, the method that I created to help you figure out your perfect insurance number. And we'll just dig a little deeper and make sure that you understand how to calculate that number on your own, or definitely always ready for you to spend some one-on-one time with me going over that. Now, um, let me go right on into the first mindset shift. Insurance isn't about preparing for death, it's about preparing to live. So think about this like you think about a policy that you have for cars. So, car insurance or your insurance when you buy a home. You don't buy car insurance because you're planning to have a crash. You buy car insurance so that you're protected in the event that that happens. You want to make sure that if anything happens to your vehicle, whether it's an accident like a vehicle accident or something else happens, it's a lot of different reasons why you could find yourself using your car insurance policy, but you could go your whole entire life and never use it. Well, life insurance is similar. However, I can guarantee that someone will use your life insurance policy. And with it being 2025, if you know, like I know, and you're seeing what I see, maybe, Lord willing, we won't die unexpectedly. We will all live to be well over 100 and all of that good jazz. But with that being in mind, living until 100 comes with a different type of expense. Think about this. When do you want to start to retire? What if you live forever? What about rent and all those other things? So, this is why it's so important to plan to live until 100 while including those unexpected twists. While I'm going through the mindset shifts, let me just share the PARIS acronym so we can kind of get a visual of how that could fit into what we're talking about. So, right here, you can see when we're talking about preparing for death, that is the R in my name. Remember, final expense. But that is only one part of life insurance. Life insurance isn't only for when we're passing away, it's for when we're living, just like this shift that I'm talking about. um, so for remembering final expense, if you've never talked about it, you're not familiar, for this part right here, I normally recommend you set aside 15K because of expense and inflation. You deserve to be memorialized. A lot of times, I talk to folks who say, don't waste your money on that. I'll be gone. I won't know. But think about how hard we're all working to make an impact on the world and leave a legacy. You want to make sure that your legacy lives forever, especially if you're working hard in life. Also, I've been sharing a lot of content on my page that shows different ideas that you can be motivated to buy additional insurance. Like, even if you don't have children, maybe you don't care about traditional beneficiary or legacy leaving. Think about the different fundraisers and things you would like to support and participate in. That's something that you can prepare to live for. And I can't see my chat, but say hello. Well, I guess I could see my chat. Let me know you're here. And if you have some questions, feel free to drop them and I'll bring them up. All right. So the next kind of mindset shift I want to go over is your pain doesn't define you, your plan does. And this here, what I think about is if you have been blessed to not have to go through the process of helping someone plan a funeral, thank goodness. But one day, someone will either be planning your funeral, or you will be planning a funeral, or you'll be by someone that is making their final their final plans or executing those. And let me tell you, it's hard either way, but it's really hard when you're planning a funeral and you don't have any funds, or when you have to navigate through um, raising money with friends and family to be able to cover final expense. That adds a whole nother type of grief to planning for a funeral. So I think now it's so important to really focus on the R, remembering final expense at minimum, because if we look, one thing we can all agree on is that life does not last forever. So we want to make sure that while folks are grieving or navigating through that transition in life, they're not worrying about finances while they're doing that. So this is really what helps me come up with the PARIS acronym, is to stop guessing with what your family will need and actually know it. Because I found myself, when I became a life insurance broker, that I would meet with people and I would ask them how much life insurance they need. And me being me, I would say dream big, this and that, but we really need to figure out like how we figure out that number. So when you figure out what your family needs, this is why I came up with the PARIS acronym. And actually, let me show you this Excel document that I made. And feel free to send me your email address. I can send you this Excel document and you can navigate through this on your own. Or also, we could always get some time together. So when I talk about you don't have to guess to figure out what your family needs, I came up with this acronym so you could literally put a number to planning for your future. So no matter how old you are right now, we are planning with the intent for you living until 100. So right now we look at your family, and this is different for each individual, but you would start at the top with P, protecting your income. So think about this here. You see some numbers in there now, just as an example from before, but how much is your income right now? And this doesn't have to be exact. You could use like your highest ever income, because right here, we're planning for if your income was gone today, who, for one, depends on your income, how long would you want them to be able to still operate the same financial way after you're gone? And also, when we talk about living to 100, maybe your income isn't gone because you passed away. Maybe you separated from an employer. So here we're going to put our annual income based on what we're thinking about today, and then multiply how many years we want to replace. Like you can see here, this was 5. So for me, when I do this number with parents, a lot of times I make that 10, because you think about, if you are a parent and you are working to protect your income. Right now, my daughter is 12. If I died unexpectedly today, I would want 10 years there. And then that way, by then she would be 22, but she would still have like the supplement or the help of the income from what I've had for those years. So that's that. Then you go into adding up your debt. So, like if you have a home that you want to still be around, whether you're around or not. A lot of things come with that, like mortgage, property taxes. So, with the debts and obligations, I like to remind people to think about what things you still want paid for, whether you're here or not. So, that's homes you want to keep in the family. Think if you ever want to help your child or godchildren buy a home, you will put that here. Future schooling, any future debt that you want to cover, whether or not you're here or not, that's where you put this here. Remember, final expense. I always say to start at 15K. Now, folks have other scenarios where more or less might be right for this area, but of course, this is your own calculation, so we figured that out. Include dreams and legacy. Now, that is my favorite part, because we started with the P, protecting our income. That's important because we have to adult and be responsible. Then we added up our debt and our obligations, more responsibility. We're remembering our final expense, because that's important. And when we get down to I, include dreams and legacy, Now, that's when I feel like you really get to dream big for yourself. You've already taking care of all the other expenses. And this is where we really plan like how we want to live our life until the age of 100. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to show up for family when they're going through um, life's unexpected experiences, and anything that happens, whether I'm working as hard as I am today or whether I'm 85. One thing I don't want to be the reason why I'm not doing something is because I financially did not plan to be able to have those kind of experiences. So think about how you live now. I'll be 40 this year. So we need to plan for the future because don't you believe that you're going to be there? So let's plan on how we're going to fund it. You look this last week or so, there's been a lot of death across the timeline, and it's really across the timeline because it's been more celebrities, but also look at the different deaths that are occurring locally across the world. Like life comes at us so fast. So you want to make sure that we're prepared um, for that unexpected and for our legacy. Also, what I was getting at too, you'll see a lot of different fundraising. People have been uninsurable for a long time, maybe disabled. So there's different movements and things that you can be a part of. There's been folks donating custom caskets. There's people that make custom memorials. Like there's um, different movements. So really anything that you care about while you're living, you can keep that legacy going long after you're gone. So really think about that. Think about what you want your legacy to be. I reported on a lady out of New York. I think it might have been a small city in New Jersey. I'll have to go back and look, but her husband passed away, left her quite a large sum of money, and then she took care of everything she needed to do. But in her will, she left money to that school, and now it will cover tuition for underprivileged children for like forever. I think she left like $1 billion. I don't know. So I have to look back at my numbers, but that's when you can figure out what do you really want your dream and legacy to be. And then for S, that's when you subtract your savings and current insurance. This would be if you have insurance through an employer, you put that there. If you have like a large set of sum of money that's sitting, hopefully working for you, but you will put that here, and then you get your magic number, and then we talk together and start to work on how we will fill in these gaps. Now there's lots of different insurance products that we will navigate through. This is just to show you that we have options based on your age and your health status. All right, so let's go to our next mind shift. I'm going to take this off of the screen. So here it is, procrastination. Let me add back the P.A.R.I.S acronym. So procrastination really is a form of gambling with your legacy. If you don't have any life insurance outside of employer here, I think number one is really focusing on the R. If something happened to you and you passed away unexpectedly today, you do not want to leave that burden on your loved ones, because even if you don't have children, siblings, someone is going to handle the task of laying you to rest when that time comes. So you want to make sure that's taken care of. So don't gamble with your legacy. Don't gamble at all. Start with something. This is why I broke down this method so that you can see that there's a variety of different parts when it comes to this. And we just have to work on it little by little to get it taken care of. All right. Um, you're not just surviving, you're building legacy. I think this always reminds me that most people, and I catch myself thinking about it in my head too, but most people think that life insurance costs 3 times more than it actually does. Isn't that so interesting? So we're over here thinking that we just have to survive when really we're in our own way, creating this legacy. There are many, many examples where folks maybe lives paycheck to paycheck, But just like health insurance, they made sure that life insurance was paid, and then they might have not had as much money as they wanted to in their living days, but they were able to continue their legacy and change the narrative for their children and future generations. You can do the same thing. Right now, if you're like me and you'll be 40 in this year, we've got time. We've got time before we are retired. We don't have time not to start working on our future right now, but you have time to invest in some products now and let them sit for 30 years so that when you say, whew, at 70, you're able to rest. Look at the different folks who passed away who were all under like the age of 80 in the last week. And I'm rounding up just because there were so many deaths. But think about that. We can start getting Social Security right now at the age of 62. Official retirement age is 70. If you pass away at 74, what did you do with all your life all those years? So keep that in mind. So I think, remember, nothing is stronger than your decision to protect like what you love. That's one affirmation I want us to always remember. I protect what I love. I protect what I love, and um, I'm just hoping that you take some time to do this for yourself. Again, the Paris acronym. Protect your income, add up your debts, remember final expense, include dreams and legacies, subtract those savings. It doesn't save you any money struggling through this information by yourself. It is free to work with me. And it's not just about the money, it's the way of telling your family you've got them and that you love them. If you need help calculating your number, I can't stress enough how happy I would be to help you navigate that. Thank you so much for listening. Please share this, write your comments. I'll be reading them and looking forward to my next live. Thank you so much for dreaming with me.